Hi, I'm Marcus and this is Sidecar. I'm just going to give you a quick demo of what Sidecar can do. We're starting off on the first screen, which is called TD. That stands for To-Dos, and it's a task manager, except instead of being focused for humans like Jira or Linear, this task manager is focused for AI agents to be able to use effectively. There are a ton of features here, which we will not go into all of them, but you can see that tasks are created, agents begin working on them. They can then pick up tasks to review, and you can see everything that's happened in the activity log. This is actually quite an advanced system in terms of features, but it's a very simple system in terms of actual usability and agentic task management. The next feature of Sidecar is Git. So instead of, when an agent makes changes when you're coding, instead of having to go to cursor to view those changes, you can just view them right here. We have a full diff view. You can view them both inline and side by side. And as you can see, everything happens generally with shortcuts, although there are, in many cases, mouse interactive elements in the Sidecar user interface as well. Right now I don't have any unstaged changes, but if I did, I could pull those, or I could stage and commit those changes. I can pull changes. I can do other things like merging in remote branches. I can see a graph view of my Git work tree and all kinds of other things. I can see Git blames, many other features. And most of the features in Sidecar are discoverable with the question mark shortcut. And then you can search for the thing that you might be looking to do, and you'll get a keyboard shortcut there. And if, like you see here, some of the text is hard to read, there's a full theming system built into Sidecar. So we have standard themes that come with it, and then 453 community themes that you can switch to just to find the look that you might like. And themes are themable per project or for all of Sidecar. We haven't really talked about projects yet, but we'll talk about projects in a second. The third feature of Sidecar is the files plugin. So rather than having to go to cursor or elsewhere to get context for what you're working on, you can just view the files right here in line. And as you can see, they load really quickly. There's a fuzzy file search that will search across all of your files. And if you find a markdown file, we render the markdown nicely so it's easy to read here. There's search within files using the slash key, and there's global search across all files. That's really quick. It uses regrep under the surface, and you can search for, say, cursor, because there is a cursor adapter built into Sidecar. The next part of Sidecar is the conversations plugin, and that's where you see all of the conversations you've had with AI agents. And the nice thing here is that you don't only see the conversations you've had with Claude Code. Like you can see here, this is a conversation with Opus, and this one is with GPT 5.3 right in line. We support Gemini, Warp, and Open Code, and others. And it's fairly straightforward to make an adapter for other agentic workflows as well. And this doesn't only work with conversations that you have in the command line with other agents. For example, this GPT 5.3 conversation was had inside of the Codex app. And similarly with Cursor, if you use the Cursor IDE, you will see your conversations show up here. The next feature is Workspaces. And this has two main features. One is basically just an inline terminal. This is really the equivalent of if I had just opened up a new terminal in iTerm, but it gives me a quick way to view them all in line. So to do that, I would do in to create a new shell. I can name it whatever I'm working on, and then I can either choose to attach an agent initially, or I can choose to start an agent initially, or I can just have a shell so I can run a server or whatever else I need to do. Here I'll just show starting up Codex with danger mode on. The other powerful feature in Workspaces is that you can create Git work trees without any of the command line magic. So I can, if I want to work on a feature that's separate from the rest of the code base, it has its own checkout of the project, I can create a new workspace or work tree, and I can name it whatever the feature I want to name it is. So we'll say, I don't know why, but Spotify integration. We want to have Spotify integration inside of Sidecar. We'll base it off of the main branch. You can pass in prompts, which includes tickets from TD to work on, but in this case, we're not going to pass in a prompt. Similarly to how, or we can just find a task here. So if I already had Spotify, I could just have it start working on that from here. But in this case, we'll just start it up with Claude Code and create it. And there, now we have a completely new directory with the entire code base in it. And you can work on this directory separate from your main repo. And then when you're done, so say we added this and then the agent went off and did it. By the way, this view having the terminal interactive inside of a pane, I think is fairly unique to Sidecar. And if Claude had made changes, we would be able to click on the diff tab to see what those changes were. Currently, we don't have them. And if we had attached a task from TD, we would be able to see that here. And then again, if we wanted to merge this feature back in to Sidecar, that's with the M shortcut. You go through this little workflow where you review the diff. It would just show you what files had changed. You pick which branch you're going to merge it back into. By default, it's the one you chose when you branched off of it. And then you either can merge directly or you can create a merge request, which I won't do either of these now. And it will allow you to open up GitHub if you create a merge request and view the merge. And then it will clean everything up for you afterwards, so you don't have to worry about it. And if at any point any of this fails, it's really easy to go back in and clean it up. Like if you have a merge that's more complex and you want to have Claude do it for you, the workspace will still be here, and you can still clean it up later. Another feature here really quick is that you can fetch merge requests from GitHub. So I have one here that I created last night on my phone with the Claude app. I'm going to fetch that PR and load it in. And now I can attach an agent to it and have it work with those changes. Or if I wanted to, I could just, I could actually switch into this work tree to see what the changes were. So that's with the capital W shortcut. You can see we have our Spotify integration work tree that we just created. And now we have this converting our guides to skills work tree. And I should be able to see the diff of changes that happen here. I can see them here, so I can see that there was a commit. And then if I go to Git, I can see what the commit was. I'm now inside of this work tree, so everything is in that context. And then I can see how Claude did converting my markdown file guides to, I mean, they are markdown file to markdown file skills. And then when I'm done, say I'm done with this Spotify integration, I decide not to merge the feature back in, I can just delete the work tree, delete the local branch, and done. I'm not going to merge this in quite yet. So if I want to switch back to the main branch, I go here. Now I'm back on the main branch. I can still see inside of the guides work tree, and it's clearly named, or I can go back to the shells that I have running off the main branch. I did mention projects before. So far we've been looking at everything in the context of the Sidecar repo. If we wanted to look at another project, I can do that with the @ short key or by clicking on the name of the repo here. And I can see everything that I've been working on and completely change context into another project if I want. So now I'm in night shift, completely separate project, same interface, same tabs, but all within Sidecar, all without leaving this one iTerm tab. And you can see here there's another feature for notes, which I haven't yet released. So we'll talk about that in another video. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed and hope you can see some potential with Sidecar.